What's going on, Yu-Gi-Oh fans? PlotArmorCards in the house, and today I'm coming to you with a TCG Player article that is titled "The Best Buys for New Yu-Gi-Oh Players in 2022." Now, this is super dope because that's one thing I feel like isn't the easiest thing to get into. If you're a new player, is modern Yu-Gi-Oh. So I definitely like to see, what is going to be on this list and how maybe in the future we can make it easier for new players to get into Yu-Gi-Oh. Obviously, there are some things that are happening, like speed duels. I would say a little bit easier for new players to get into, but I'm talking about just like meta type Yu-Gi-Oh or just like regular. You got to learn the synchros, you got to learn the XCs, you got to learn fusions and all that stuff, links, pendulums, all that. So, what are the best products to learn Yu-Gi-Oh? So, Yu-Gi-Oh is a complicated game with a massive card pool. That's actually, yep, that's right. So, it's not a bad idea to get your feet wet before you can dive straight into competitive play. Starter deck products are designed to teach players basic game mechanics, and they typically feature a wide variety of easy to understand cards. This is true. Starter decks are already like a really great way. Honestly, just based on this picture, the Egyptian Gods starter decks, this is kind of good because a lot of people remember the Egyptian God cards. These are really popular. Out of any of the monsters, Egyptian God cards are probably going to be ones that are, ones that are some of the most recognizable, or at least the name Egyptian God in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh would be very recognizable. Plus, I did buy a couple of these. I bought 3 of the obelisk ones, I believe. But I'm pretty sure there's no extra deck for this structure deck or whatnot. So it's actually kind of, it does kind of limit down to just summoning mechanics and then or normal summoning, special summoning. You'd have to sacrifice some of the gods, I believe. Plus spells and traps. So it's pretty. I would say it's a pretty decent way to be able to learn the game without having to worry about all the complicated extra deck stuff. So I agree with this. I completely agree with this. Plus, I think they come with Harpy's Feather Duster, which is super dope. So next, Structure decks, Cyber Strike, Structure deck Feasing Chain, and Structure deck Alba Strike were all released within the year, and they're all worth investigating. They're definitely more complicated than a starter deck, this is true. But if you have a little experience with Yu-Gi-Oh! Simulator, then you'll figure them out pretty quick. I would say overall, this is going to be, I would say, the most meta relevant. So if you're into that and if you're new at the game, but you're new enough to where you understand the mechanics to some degree, definitely is worth picking up. They do have some things in them that kind of break the traditional mold of the archetype, I guess. So like this has infinite permanence. Most traps you'd have to set them down, and then the infinite permanence you play from your hand. However, obviously it's written on the card, so I don't think that's too much of a problem. And then this one, the fusion card, it lets you fuse straight from the deck. I don't think that's too difficult to figure out, but this I would say definitely is for people that maybe have someone to help guide them. My voice just cracked. That's nice. Maybe help someone to have someone to help guide them, or if they're already a little bit familiar with the product, this is definitely something that I would recommend. This one I would say is my favorite right now. This, however, is also really good. So, Freezing Chains just wasn't that great. I was bamboozled. All right, I picked up a playset of these and I kind of regret it because I haven't touched it since I got it. So, just something to think about. Plus, best products to get into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, so what should you buy if you're planning on entering tournaments as soon as possible? The most recommended way to get into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh is to buy singles and build exactly the deck you want. This is true. This is not always the best route for everyone. Okay. And don't get me wrong. If you know with complete certainty that you want to take Eldritch to a tournament and don't mind buying everything card by card, then you should do exactly that. Find a deck list. We always have the latest, blah, blah, blah. Grab a few extra staple cards or the whole deck in one go. That's exactly what I did in 2008. I think every time I build a deck, I test it extensively online and then I just order it all in one go. So I do that pretty often. However, so there are a lot of, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is getting a little bit better about printing and reprinting pretty popular hand traps. So things like Effect Veiler, Ghost Ogre, Snow Rabbit, pretty easy to pick up, right? Certain things like Pot of Extravagance. This was in Albaz, I believe. This was also in Spirit Charmers. I feel like this was also in Spirit Charmers. I don't remember what this was in. I just don't remember off the top of my head. This might have also been in Albaz. I'm tripping. But so there's been pretty decent stables that overall, like, let's say I'm running the God card deck and I don't really have like an extra deck in this situation. I can at least figure out that, hey, Pot of Extravagance, I can just fill up my extra deck with anything I want, throw 3 Pot of Extravagance, and it does really help my deck. So I feel like a lot of times, like when I got into Yu-Gi-Oh, or I look into certain cards and I'm looking and I go, hey, this works pretty decently with this, and I think I'm so smart, and then I look online and I figure out that, hey, 60 million people have done this before me, But just that moment of putting two and two together, I think is super dope. So that's definitely something I would recommend. So definitely worth picking up certain staple cards. A lot of cards are getting a lot cheaper. So you'll be able to get your hands on Ash Blossom. That's true. When Structure Deck Legend of the Crystal Beast launches in September, I will be picking a playset of these for sure, which is one of the most demanded cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitive, despite its many reprints. Yes, 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 yes. We need this. We need Ash Blossom. I for sure will be picking that up. The Structure Deck, at least. The 2021 Ancient Battles and the upcoming 2022 10 Pharaohs there's so many good reprints in there. Oh my goodness, I'm really really excited because there's a lot of things that I want from there. So definitely, like if you're really excited about like pack pulling and tins and stuff, I would definitely recommend something like this because it has so much potential. You could get one of like a lot of different cards that are really dope. And just because of the printings and reprinting, Ash Blossom itself is now like $18. Look at this, it's like $18. Well, I picked it up. I pulled a Ghost Rare in one of my pack pulls, and then I just traded it in for 3 Ash Blossoms. But back then they went for like I think $30 a piece. So yeah, it's definitely nice to see that it's been halved in price. What are best Yu-Gi-Oh products for groups of friends? Okay, this is actually kind of dope. Speed duels. Well, I have not had too much experience with speed duels. I know they're actually pretty fun. So I think what happens is it limits the amount of cards that you're on the field, limits the amount of cards that are in your hand, limits the amount of cards you can play face down in the spell and trap zone, etc., etc. So it does speed up the game, yeah, and then it does force you to, I guess, based on the rules, it does. You have to be very careful about certain things that you do. So overall, I think speed duels are really fun. If you're playing with 2 friends, I would definitely recommend that you pick up maybe a couple decks that you guys are really into over speed duels, just because speed duels I feel like is a little bit more niche, and if you're trying to like expand and you're going into like other markets, you know what I mean? Like if I go to my local card shop, the amount of people that play Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty high, but the amount of people that out of that would specifically speed duel is a little bit less. So I would probably recommend over getting speed duels, the speed duel boxes that you pick up a couple cheap decks that you both like to play around with, and you can maybe duel with that. And that way you can meet some new people maybe at your local card shop that would be able to. Not saying you can't do that with these. I mean, I'm just saying there's more potential that way. But if you feel like speed duel is the way to go, then definitely check out speed duels, guys. Supplies are also important. Yes, this is true. For the longest time, I used to just play with my brother and my 2 or 3 cousins, and so we never actually bought sleeves. So if you're just playing at home, I don't really see the harm in not having sleeves, unless you have something that's like so obviously like creased or marked that you could tell what it is every time you're about to draw it, But yeah, we had for the longest time never had sleeves. It wasn't until like during COVID when I started getting into it like really, really professionally is when I started picking up more sleeves. Deck boxes as well. In elementary school, I used to keep like a rubber band around my cards, and I regret that because now most of them are in terrible condition, and they should have been worth a lot, but now they're not worth that much. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you have like a smart way to hold on or keep your cards. I'm pretty sure you can get one a lot cheaper than $5. It just depends on where you look. But yeah, if you want like certain ones, then yeah, those are the ones you're gonna have to be looking at. Also, mats. We did not have mats at all. Like my first play mat, I think came with my Blue Eye Structure deck that I bought back when the Blue Eye Structure deck was new. This is a long, long time ago. But yeah, I would definitely recommend if you are into the professional type play mats and stuff. Definitely, I'd recommend picking those up because those are really nice quality stuff. But if you do pick up like something like a structure deck or something like that, like these came with play mats, so it's just something to think about. If you're not interested in spending the extra money, might not be the case, right? But it looks like this, yep, right here. Well, structure deck and star decks come with paper playmats. You'll eventually want to upgrade to rubber playmat. Yep, that's true. These are essentially oversized mouse pads. They may not seem necessary at first, but trust me, after you start dealing with, yep, this is true. I ordered my first rubber playmat a couple months back. I love it. It's just so much fun, and it was custom made, so it's super dope that I was able to put my own flavor and taste on it. Obviously, if you're familiar with TCGs, you'll likely already have a playmat available to use, but you might consider grabbing one with printed field zones. That is, I feel like, necessary. And Yu-Gi-Oh card placement is a big deal. This is true, and having zones helps both you and your opponent clearly understand where each card is. Field center helps with this too, although it is not a necessity. Yep. Definitely, I would recommend if you are starting to get into it. Like, I went to locals a couple times with the little paper ones that come out of here, and everyone looks at me sideways. I'm not gonna lie, but honestly, I don't think that's too much of a problem. But anyways, guys, this is PlotArmorCards signing out for the day. You guys, let me know what you guys think of this list, or it's not necessarily a list, but this what I want to say here, this article letting us know that the best buys for new Yu-Gi-Oh players is. How accurate do you think it is? Is there anything else you would recommend for new players? I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. But anyways, guys, this is PlotArmorCards signing out for the day. If you like what you see, don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. And oh my goodness, look at the time.
It's time to duel!